Okay. Hello, Marko. My name is Jordi. She is Yolanda. Our website is called Starway to Rock, and it's
Yeah,
a pleasure to have you here. Uh,
thank you.
First of all, congratulations for your new solo album, Roses from the Deep. It is your second album after Pyre of the Heart Black.
Yeah,
So, an opinion about your new singles, Impatient Zero and Rebel of the North?
pretty much. Well, I don't follow social media too much myself, um, uh, but of course, when the video comes out on YouTube, I go there and see some comments and all that. And to me, it seems that without the few sore notes, there's people are pretty unanimously really liking it. And well, that feels good because in the end, I mean, we do music, songs, and albums that we kind of trust that this is good enough that we can release it and put it out. And at least I want to be able to present my product with some pride. But now, you know, the last word is always that which comes when you give something out to people and what they hear or what they see. And yeah, so for me, that has been really good, the reception.
So, how is Marco as emotionally way speaking today? Because for me, the first album has like a darkness atmosphere, or more than
Mhm.
this album, I feel more energy or happiness in this second
Yeah, for
album.
sure. Yeah, for sure. Because well, do while I was doing Pyro the Black Heart, it was like I had gotten so used to my depression and anxiety that I was just hanging on my teeth and doing things kind of by a momentum. And in the end, it kind of also slowed down the final versions of that album quite a lot. My guitar player, Thomas Wijnelen, already back then, he had to whip me into the studio a few times to get the vocals done. And this time around, of course, it was totally different situation since I kind of left everything
Yeah.
and went away from everything that I knew to live in a winter base in Spain and just forget all the demands of the possible world before. And I took that move because I just wanted to find out that I really concentrate on finding help for myself because my imagination had been taken over by only bad shit. I was depressed and anxious all the time. And it had been medicated and all kinds of things tried, and something would help for a while. And in the end, it would stop. And then I would continue downslope. And well, then I got to, like I said, I left everything, talked to psychiatric help in Finland and in Spain. And one of the new people that I talked to kind of was sharp enough to say that when he was listening to my how I presented my things and all that, he said that I should take an ADHD test. And what do you know? At the age of 56, I think it's the one that they call adult ADHD. I got it.
Okay.
Yep. And I was like, what the hell does it have to do with depression and anxiety? Apparently, quite a lot, because you've been born with it. And there are about 1 in 6 which are probably like that, but it's still a hell of a social barrier to be fundamentally different so that you will always have trouble being understood or understand other people correctly, it alienates you permanently, somewhat, no matter that you have also like the comrades in syndrome or something like that. But in the end, as a, yeah, evolution has wired us humans to be social, tribal, and all that. So that kind of a social hindrance affects you like hell. And like 70% of ADHD people, I guess, suffer from depression and anxiety because, yeah, you've been alienated ever since you were a kid.
Yeah.
You feel that you're different, and it's tens of thousand times more than a normal kid that you hear criticisms. Why your homework isn't made? Why are you late? Why are you always late? Yeah. So what it builds up into sense of worthlessness and sense of being inadequate, always late, always forgetting things, and all that, which will inevitably also lead into depression and anxiety, especially that inadequateness. And connecting these things, and the connection between ADHD and these things was pretty clear. And well, you do some therapy and you switch your meds totally concentrated on that problem. And what do you know? Your mind starts to change.
So good news.
In 3 weeks, it was like I was wobbling at my backyard and wondering, what is it? Why do I feel so empty and hollow and all that? It's because I don't have a constant noise in my head about things that I have fucked up and about things that I have forgotten and about things that I should do, and nothing's ever good. I'm not anxious.
Maybe the front cover of the album can explain some things that you have said, because there is a dragon on your head, on the top of your head, roses, something beautiful, and an explosion. So,
yep, you can connect it that way too, of course. But then again, it's also pretty symbolic for the whole bunch of versatile ideas that we put together with the guys as a band, because they are very much responsible for how this thing sounds, and everybody's had their say about arrangements and whatnot. So in the end, even if I did come up with most of the choruses and verses and parts like this, the end result of every song by themselves is a serious collaboration too. And yeah, so, and your musical abilities, it's a calculative process and it's an intuitive process. It's got emotion, it's got rational connections of notes to one another, very mathematical, but then also something straight out of what you feel, what is your vibe into it. So symbolically, these are also like a collaborative roses from the deep. It carries my name because the guys in the band pushed me into it. They said that I'm better known than if we put ourselves some new band that nobody has heard name.
Yeah. Also, when you released Left on Mars, the duo with Tarja, it was not
Indeed,
initially the idea to include in the album, no? Because it was talk about other projects like a band with both of you. So
no,
do you think to include?
Left on Mars was already being written for the album. And in fact, I at first didn't think it was going to be a duet. It was my guitar player who pointed it out, that this one could be a duet. And at the same time, I had already been talking to Tarja about doing that Phantom of the Opera there. Tuomas Väinölä, he knew about it. And when he said about do it, I saw the gleam in his eye and I realized immediately, click, okay, I know what you mean. I could ask, of course. I have to write an email.
Okay.
So that's how it kind of came to be. We went to Switzerland to do those shows where my band was playing and her band was playing and did Phantom of the Opera together. And that was a really like a moment where time was kind of stopping for me, because seeing people laughing and crying and that atmosphere, you could cut it with a knife and it was like, it's us two here and it matters. It really matters to these people.
We
Yeah.
attended Leyendas del Rock.
Yeah.
Yolanda and I were there, so
Mhm.
we attend to your concerts twice because
All
you,
right.
with Tarot, we were there. But
Okay.
I have to say that in Century Child, the band, when the band decided to play Phantom of the Opera,
Mhm.
I think is a perfect song to mix both voices and to show your skills, because it was your first album with Nightwish. So, and I think that it's one of the best covers of this song ever made.
Thank you for that, because I think that you are kind of right, especially in thinking that how Nightwish had already become known as a symphonic heavy metal group with a classical voice. And then when you combine that kind of a arrangement also with your pretty trad metal shouder, it then kind of glues the whole thing really together. You have all those worlds in it.
We
I
attended
can't.
sorry, Yolanda,
No,
please.
no. I want to, because my question is about the album. So if you want, okay. No, just
Go.
I'm not sure about if the members of the album are the same as the previous one, because
Yes, but,
there are
yeah, they are.
guitars. Okay,
Yeah, they are.
and just you in the vocals. So all the chorus are you or not?
Sorry?
Or only you in the vocals, the chorus.
The
I
solo
mean,
album?
if you have some collaborations.
Yeah, in the solo album, yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Sorry, I was a little bit lost. But of
No,
course,
no.
yeah. Yeah, we have these two duets. The first one, of course, being with Daria with Left on Mark.
Huh?
But there's the other ballad, the Two Soldiers, which is also kind of a particular piece, because I did have the acoustic rolling, the riff, and the chorus melodies and melodies for the verses and some pre-chorus stuff and all that. But
So the speaking part of this song is amazing.
yeah, that one is actually James Lascelles.
Okay, I
From,
didn't recognize.
yeah, if you do know the prog metal group Wheel.
No.
I attended,
Yeah.
I recommend that. Yeah, it's a Finnish group and they're seriously good. They're insanely good players. Anyways, and James is the vocalist, guitar player of that group. So he's a native English speaker. And we kind of, for instance, Two Soldiers and some other critical places, we let him to check our lyrical output. And then he, of course, ended up having the narrative there in Two Soldiers. And what I was saying, that this particular song is different from the others in that way also, that the main lyric comes from Tuomas Väinölä, the guitar player on both of Marko Hietala albums. And he had these melody parts and what I had, and we had played them through, and he knew that. So he had this idea of this brothers facing grim future. And he had the idea that if it goes like that, why not ask my real brother in arms, musically, Mr. J.P. Leppeluoto, to do some vocals as well, because he's got a really great low end. His register is they're way lower than mine, and he sounds natural and warm and big. And then I got the higher notes, and we got that connection. He's been my friend for over 20 years, a long while, and we've led parallel lives with lots of like great things and lots of bad things, which we managed somehow to meet in our own lives. Alcoholism, divorces, whatnot. So yeah, it was a great thing to do. And great thing was that we were also a studio at the same time doing our vocals, so that I would do my first verse and do my parts, and he would come in and do his, and we would discuss about it. So it has that kind of a live feeling that you're there singing together very much as it did.
So you've got an upcoming album, solo album, but Tarot played in this summer in Leyendas del Rock. So are you going to combine both projects?
With Tarot, there is a unfortunate situation that we cannot really tour. My brother is practically his wife is invalidized. How do you say it? Blah, blah. Invalidized pretty heavily, and he's pretty much taking care of her. So, but we did get into that much fun with doing the comeback shows last summer. It was that much fun that we figured that we might as well get together next summer when we all have vacation time and we're all there at the old hometown. We could get together to the keyboard player Jannes, his studio place, and go over a little bit what we have on the old hard disks and what kind of riffs we have and what would be in line for that kind of a pretty heavy group.
So as you cannot present your first album since COVID, and right now you have a second one, so it's a good moment to tour with your own project?
Yes, for sure it is. And we're going to be
we want to know more.
So we're going to be doing that. Well, 7th of February is the release date on the album. And then we're also starting to do a few album release shows in Finland, about 6. And then having a week or two off. I can't really remember the dates that sharp. I'm on my January vacation. But I'll be there in Finland 1st of February for the rehearsals, and then I'm kind of jumping on the ride already. Anyways, then we have Baltics coming in February end, and Eastern Europe through March and something like that. I think we end up all the way through old Eastern Europe until Greece or something like that. But like I said, it's still awake for me.
No news about summer or...
Summer? Damn. Well, I think I'm going to be doing a couple of just guest appearances with Tarja. I think Wacken was one. I don't know if I should have said this one.
Sure.
Is it advertised already?
Neither in Spain, no. Any date? No.
Okay. Hope I didn't talk anything.
Okay, you already answered me.
Yep.
I think.
And you have thought about the set list, because, for example, from this album, there is a really special song, The Islander. Are you going to play this song live?
I don't know, to be sure, because we've been looking at the part in the set that could be kind of take a kind of a deep but fast look into history by building up a so-called medley. But at the moment, I don't know what's the idea, because, well, we didn't get as far as possibly deciding any concrete songs or anything. It was just talked a few days back in a Zoom meeting.
Mhm.
But yeah, that's the problem with having seriously a big load of catalog back behind you, is that you need to choose. If you go there, you need to choose. It's hard.
You've got a big career because, for example,
Yeah.
I've got two Synergy albums, an amazing band you play with. What an amazing lineup, by the way.
Yep. That's for sure. And also a couple of friends that are gone. Hmm.
Okay.
I mean,
R- r- yeah.
it's a kind of weird, even absurd, to find myself that I've gone this far, and then there's already like quite a few friends who didn't. Hmm.
Also, I want to ask, because you are starting to do more collaborations with other bands, and I want to highlight two, one with XCTN and with Patty
Uh-huh.
Gurdy. So,
Mhm.
what should have a band for you to decide to collaborate with them?
I think basically because well, I heard the song, it was pretty nice, and I was like, I was well, actually, Exit Eden got recorded when I was still like really picking up the pieces and all that. I just really wanted to get, like, do things that I had promised interest in. And yeah, and I thought that the song is nice and we can do it. And also then ended up doing the video and all that, which was kind of funny because we were doing like a drive-through road trip through Europe with my friend and with my dog
Oh,
from Finland to Spain. And they kind of told me like a week before that, okay, the video dates, they're really confirmed and all that. So it was like, okay, that means that we're gonna drive a 1,000 kilometer more by driving from Baltics then straight to West to do the video and arrive Spain about 2 to 3 days later. And all that. So we did that, and so I went there to Netherlands, and we ended up to the northern parts to do on these sandy beach line thingy to shoot a video of a goddamn recurring nightmare.
You are currently singing and playing with Daria, but why not a mix of participate to play with Annette Olson? Do you have news about her?
Oh, nah, haven't really been in a contact at all. Sorry to say. And now that I've become active, I've realized that there's a kind of also really a big load of people who would really like me to participate. And I've already managed to kind of mess up some people's publication plans by taking part in too many things. So if Annette would need me, she would have to ask. I would have to hear the song. But I'm also very well determined not to start messing up my life with too many things going on at the same time. I mean, I got my own shows and a few things to do where I just go to join Tarja's group. And then also, I have dues to pay. It was the family that was also a very big thing in picking me up. Hanging around with a newborn little girl and watching her grow, now 2 years, is pretty much full of life.
Nice. Just a comment for me. There are a couple of songs in the album that reminds me to Black Sabbath. One is Rebel of the North, and the other one is Proud War. So I'm not sure if I am correct, but it's curious because in 2021 you mentioned Tony Iommi of one of your childhood heroes.
Yes. And of course, especially with the Proud Whore, I do recognize that when you go with that kind of a slow and really like a heavy backbeat tempo,
Yes.
and you got really nice low guitar bass unison.
And also your voice.
Oh, thank you. I didn't mean it that way, but but it's got I recognize that it's got that kind of a vibe, at least in places. Yeah. But yeah, Sabbath has had some really great vocal works. I mean, from both Ozzy and Dio, and then Tony Martin. So thank you for that. If the vocal works sounds like a Sabbathesque.
How do you remember the experience of taking part in a Masked Singer Finland?
That was a fun thing to do. I mean, of course, I knew that I'm very recognizable as a vocalist, and I will not be able to fool the public, or especially fans. But I knew also that who we're going to be doing the panel, the judges, and all that there at the TV show, and I knew that what they've heard is probably some Nightwish where I've been doing some little part, or mostly not at all. So I trusted that I could fool them, and that went well.
Maybe it was the first moment that you use autotune, or not?
You mean in Masked Singer?
Yeah.
I think they polished up some things, I'm pretty sure. But I also, I did my studies. I did pretty well already. And for instance, the whole vocal harmony thing in Gangster's Paradise. That was pretty much me. And then me doubling myself up. And then the harmony, and me doubling the harmony up, and all that. So you got it already sounding pretty much like the original. But then, well, of course they polish it up because you're supposed to sound live. So you kind of do it also with a basic, like, passive Shure SM58 microphone, your all-day show mule, and you do it like few takes, and then you let them handle it. So it's not really a polished studio work at all.
Have you listened the last album of Nightwish?
Sorry to say not. I mean, it's a thing that I mean, it would make me sad, and I don't.
So better to avoid.
Yeah, and I've had a bit of a schooling, and also, well, a lot of other help too, but also schooling myself to avoid thinking of those things that made me sad, because yeah, like I said, I got an overclocked imagination, and it was taken over by by constantly rolling how you would do things differently and say things differently, and it would give you no peace.
Thank you anyway for answering me.
Yep.
But for the fans, so sorry, but as a fan, I think that many people think that you are the bass player of Nightwish. You are the classic lineup.
I am
Okay, you are
I
part.
I am firmly there with physicists, with my point of view that all time is. Then that time that I was there, and those albums and that music, which we did with pride and ambition, is there. It exists in this continuum of time and space forever, like that. And future is what it is. I'm different. I think I think quite a lot of us are different from what happened then. I certainly am seriously changed by everything that I went through myself. And one of the things that I learned also from finding out why I've always felt different, one of the things that it helped me to understand was that I can forgive myself for screwing a lot of things up and saying wrong things. And I can also forgive a lot of other people, also friends that I lost. They're in the dark days when they were thinking, well, whatever, I'm going crazy, I'm doing drugs, but in the end, I got it solved. So in a way, this thing, it's an absolution. And therefore, I found a kind of peace in looking at the history, which I don't want to shock. And it's better to live on. I mean, we've still sent some messages and talked about different things with other members of Nightwish and all that, but they seem to have their own like burdens to carry also. I don't think that they're living on an indeterminate break wouldn't be happening unless some people wouldn't be seriously tired. It's a heavy world, and that routine is tedious, and it's also a responsibility, because you gotta be, and you want to be at your best every goddamn night.
Finishing, this one is really, it's a difficult one. Which is the first album you bought with your own money?
The first album that I bought with my own money isn't actually exactly an album I bought with my own money or by myself. But me and my brother, who were the guitar player in Tarot, we heard from a radio rock show, they played Rainbow Kill the King from Long Live Rock and Roll. And I mean, Dio was full of dragon breath. He was angry, high, and goddamn loud. It was the most rage I personally had heard put into a one song ever. We got totally hooked. So for a month, we talked our father over that you need to order this album for us. We need to have it. You need to buy it. In the end, we in the end, we managed to overtake him. And then we listened to that album all the time.